Hello, my name is Danny Hai Fong. I am an independent journalist and I am collaborating with Beijing Review to interview the legendary Zhang Weiwei, professor at Fudan University. We are going to talk about the Iran war, China's reaction to Trump's naval blockade, and so much more. And we look forward to all of you watching this. Trump is said to be planning to come to China in May. What I wanted to ask you about that is, what will be the significance of this visit for China, and how do you believe the developments worldwide, these like headwinds from the Iran war, will impact the visit, if at all?
Chinese approach is always clearly stated. There is an overall, what we call Dao, overall purpose. Chinese mindset: mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, win-win cooperation. So there's famous three principles governing Chinese position with regard to United States and Sino-US relations. So that will be the case with this visit as well. But at this particular moment, I think Donald Trump needs China far more than China needs Donald Trump. There's so many problems to solve. Domestic problems and international problems. According to difficult situation, I don't know how he can get out of it, to be honest, even with China's help. Yet on my part, I hope there will be some more understanding on the issue of Taiwan from a Chinese point of view.
Right.
You may already observe this opposition leader, Kuomintang's chairwoman, came to visit Beijing. CPC leader and KMT leader met each other and had a cordial talk. So this is all good sign. And so China, I think, will explain Chinese position to Donald Trump very clearly. If you read this statement, the government report by the Chinese premier, which is very important. First, China now is to advance the grand cause or great cause of national unification. In the past, we used the phrase of peaceful reunification. Now we say promote the cause of unification. And then we also use another phrase called in the previous statement last year and the year before, it's something like, we oppose separate forces for Taiwan's independence. Now it's become, we will firmly counter separate forces for Taiwan's independence. So these are messages that China tried to send to the world. The process for Taiwan's return to China and the process of national unification is on the way. So I think hopefully United American side will have a better understanding of the situation now. And of course, China will work on this with all the parties concerned, but China will make its own decision, wherever in power, whether you support or not. So this is irrelevant.
Some have surmised in the Western mainstream media and elsewhere that one of the hopes for the Trump administration with the war on Iran and then what happened to Venezuela before that, the U.S. operation there, was to essentially build up U.S. leverage against China. What do you think of this kind of logic and orientation? There is obviously some hints that might be the case, especially the way the Trump administration has been talking about the blocade's relationship to China.
Let's suppose this is really his so-called strategic thinking. First, let's grasp this, whatever Venezuela's oil and the Iranian oil, and then compare China to buy American oil, whatever. Obviously, it's already a failure if you look at the situation in Iran. From my point of view, I said openly, this U.S. attack on Venezuela is what I call a tactical victory, yet strategic failure. And for this attack on Iran, I said it's a tactical victory and strategic disaster. It's much more serious than the case of Venezuela in terms of the U.S. failures. It's overall disaster for the U.S. empire, if you may use the word. Its military hegemony somehow has shattered, in the sense that you cannot even defend the security of small countries like Bahrain, United Arab Emirates.
Right. Yes.
And so this security guarantee is somehow understood between Gulf states and the United States. That's why they pay such a premium and they allow US to build military bases there. Yet now, even a superpower like the United States cannot cope with a middle power from the global south. And having suffered from US sanctions for 47 years, still, the United States cannot cope with Iran. So militarily, it's a failure, obviously. And economically, it has caused so much problems worldwide. US economy also suffered. Inflation will continue and even go up. Possibly, eventually, financial crisis, given this already high debts for the US government, $39 trillion something. And every day from my data, US spend close to $1 billion on this tragic Iran war. And then morally, it's really going bankrupt. Talk about the human rights, democracy, the blah, blah, blah. No, it's all gone, yeah. And furthermore, it's American-led alliance system, or you may say US-led unipolarity, is gone. It's really, even from our point of view, how come the US even could not mobilize one of its allies to escort whatever in the Hormuz Strait or join this blockade?
Right.
So not a single ally joined the United States, which means its alliance system has gone bankrupt. And all this shows, this particular event or this Iran war is a turning point in world history in terms of shifting from unipolarity to multipolarity.
And maybe you could elaborate on that and talk about China's role in this. How will China play a role in this massive? Now it seems like almost like a what's the word for it? It's like a shock. It's like a whiplash almost into the multipolar world.
If you look at the opinion surveys in recent days, there is obviously a trend. In other words, China is more and more respected than the United States on the global stage. It's already the case in Africa, in Middle East, in Latin America for quite a few years since China launched its Belt and Road Initiative, because China is viewed as a constructor, as a builder, and the United States as a destroyer, as destruction. This perception is already there. Now this kind of attitude is beginning to embrace the Western countries, European countries, and even some of its American allies. In other words, Chinese philosophy is very simple. We should embrace peace and development. And this should be the priority for all. And we should embrace the United Nations Charter. And in other words, respect sovereignty of all the nations and try to have peaceful solution to all the global crises. But the case of China is unique because behind this is China's immense economic power and military power. China is now the largest industrial power, manufacturing power, trading power, and arguably military power as well. In other words, we embrace peace and development, but backed by hard power as well. And even in terms of soft power, if you look at the Belt and Road Initiative, it's based on very important principles called the discussing together, building together, benefiting together. So a country or a company out of its own interest to join BRI, China will not compel you to join. As a result, you see, over 150 countries have participated in BRI. And it's a typical case of construction rather than U.S. case of destruction. War, and endless wars. American people are fed up with that and against this particular war in Iran. So I think maybe China would say this is perhaps irresistible trend of history.